Gentlemen, most men go straight for her breasts and clitoris, then wonder why she's not having those intense full-body experiences where her entire body responds with pleasure. But you're skipping 6 other erogenous zones that actually create that response. And look, those overlooked areas, they're the difference between intimacy she participates in and experiences she can't stop thinking about. When you rush to the obvious spots without touching these zones first, you're basically leaving the best part on the table. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what those 6 zones are. And more importantly, I'm going to give you a step-by-step plan you can use tonight to combine all 7 zones in the right sequence for maximum effect. I'm Dr. Lila Romano, a urologist with over a decade of experience helping men reclaim their vitality and confidence. And I didn't just rely on medical textbooks for this. I've talked with couples in my practice about what actually works in real relationships. Some of their answers surprised even me. So stay with me because what I'm about to share could transform not just your intimate life, but your entire relationship. Let's start with the first zone, and this one is so subtle, most men never think to touch it. Her scalp. This is a part of her body that rarely gets touched outside of a hair salon, which makes it incredibly intimate when you do. And here's what most men don't realize. The scalp has over 100,000 nerve endings per square inch. That makes it one of the most nerve-dense areas on the entire body. But what's particularly interesting for those of us over 50 is this. Many women's scalps become even more sensitive due to hormonal changes that happen after menopause. What might have felt pleasant in her 30s can now create intense tingles down her spine. The mistake most men make here is moving too fast or using their nails instead of their fingertips. Instead, use the pads of your fingers and move like you're giving her a slow, luxurious head massage. Start at her temples, move to her hairline, then work back toward her crown in small, gentle circles. If she has longer hair, you can gently gather it in your hand and give a very light tug at the nape of her neck. That combination of gentle scalp massage followed by that slight pull creates a cascade of sensation. Watch her body language. If her shoulders relax and drop, if her eyes close, if her body seems to soften into your touch, you're creating the right effect. The scalp is powerful not just because it feels good, but because it's not typically associated with intimacy. When you're touching her there, you're focused entirely on her comfort and enjoyment. It helps her relax, brings her into the present moment, and creates arousal in ways the more obvious areas simply can't. The second zone is something you probably touch, but not the right way. Her neck. It's one of the most sensitive parts of her body. Soft kisses, warm breath, gentle contact, all of these create powerful responses. But what gets missed is that you need to explore the entire neck area. Most guys focus on just the front or one side. The neck extends all the way around, and different spots respond differently. Here's what I want you to understand about the neck. It's incredibly vulnerable. There's something subconscious that happens when you let another person be close to this area. It requires trust. And when you touch her neck with confidence, when you take your time exploring every inch of it, you're communicating something powerful to her nervous system. You're telling her she's safe, she's desired, and you're in no rush. Try gently kissing the back of her neck, not aggressively, just enough contact to create warmth. Move slowly from one side to the other. Use your breath. Let her feel your presence there. The best way to know if what you're doing is working? Listen for her breath. If it catches, if it quickens, if she makes small sounds, you're on the right track. If she tilts her head to give you more access, that's her body telling you to continue exactly what you're doing. The neck is where you start building real arousal. This is where her mind begins to shift from whatever she was thinking about during the day to being fully present with you. Don't rush past this. Give it the time it deserves. Zone number 3 is polarizing. Some women absolutely love having their ears kissed or touched, while others find it uncomfortable or ticklish. Your results will vary, so pay close attention to her reactions. When it comes to ears, the technique matters significantly. Whispering something affectionate creates a completely different experience than just touching. Combine gentle breath near the ear with soft kissing around this sensitive area. The combination of sound and touch creates what researchers call layered sensation. You're engaging multiple senses simultaneously, which deepens the neurological response. Move slowly around this area. Don't rush. Build up the sensation gradually as you get more positive reactions from her. If she's leaning into you, if she's making approving sounds, continue. If she pulls away slightly or tenses up, move to a different zone. Not every woman responds the same way to ear stimulation, and that's perfectly normal. Reading her signals here is more important than following any specific technique. What makes the ears particularly powerful when they do work is the intimacy factor. Whispered words combined with physical touch create anticipation. You're not just stimulating her. Physically, you're engaging her mind, which is absolutely critical for female arousal. Now let's talk about Zone 4. And this one is so subtle, it often gets ignored completely. The lower back. That spot between her waistband and shoulder blades is especially responsive. It's packed with nerve endings, and for many women, having this area touched the right way creates a deeply feminine feeling that opens them up to deeper connection. Here's the mistake most men make with the lower back. They treat it like a warm-up, something you touch before real intimacy starts, and then they completely forget about it. But this area can remain important throughout your entire time together. A hand resting there during close moments. Supporting this area gently with palm pressure. A soft touch when she's facing away from you. Even light pressure here can heighten her comfort and deepen her trust. You can explore this area with your lips, too. Combine gentle kisses down her spine with supportive touch on her hips, and you're creating unexpected pleasure that most men never think to provide. And you don't have to wait for private moments to use this knowledge. Give her a gentle touch here as she passes by during the day. Rest your hand there while guiding her through a doorway. All of this allows her to feel your grounded presence and creates anticipation for later. Now, if you have arthritis or back issues, which many of us over 50 do, focus on using your palms with broad, supportive pressure rather than detailed fingertip work. She'll feel the care and intention behind your touch, regardless of the specific technique. Here's where things get interesting. This is where you start combining zones. Keep one hand on her lower back while you return to her neck with your mouth. You're touching two zones. Simultaneously now, this is when her arousal spikes because her mind can't predict where the next pleasant touch is coming from. That unpredictability is what keeps her fully engaged. Zone 5 is reserved only for intimate partners. Her inner thighs. Think of them as the pathway to deeper intimacy, a pathway that rewards patience. The mistake here is obvious. Most men rush past this area to get to what they think is the good part. But gentlemen, the more time you spend on her inner thighs, the more her body naturally prepares itself for what comes next. Everything becomes more responsive. Blood flow increases, nerve sensitivity heightens, anticipation builds to levels that make the eventual stimulation far more intense. Here's exactly what to do. Give her inner thighs focus the next time you're together. Use your hands, use your lips. You can even use soft fabrics if that's part of your dynamic. Start near her. Knees. Gently touch or kiss the inside of one knee. Slowly move up her inner thigh. Stop well before reaching her most intimate area. Then switch to the other leg and repeat this pattern several times. Don't rush past this area. Use the inner thighs to let anticipation build naturally. Spend at least 5 to 7 minutes here. I know that might sound like a long time, but trust me on this. You'll know when it's working. Her breathing will change. Her body language will shift. She may even guide you with her hands, trying to direct you where she wants you to go next. Not yet. Stay patient. Let her arousal continue building. The inner thighs are perfectly located to help you create intense desire. They're close enough to her most sensitive areas that every touch creates anticipation. But they're also a rarely touched zone reserved for intimate partners only. That combination makes them incredibly powerful. The sixth zone is more obvious, but still often approached wrong: her breasts and nipples. This region is highly sensitive, and the right kind of attention here can create intense pleasure. But here's what most men miss. Women's sensitivity in this area varies greatly, not just from woman to woman, but from day to day in the same woman. Her responsiveness here changes throughout her cycle, throughout the day, based on stress levels and arousal levels. What worked perfectly last week might feel too intense today. What felt too gentle yesterday might be exactly what she needs right now. That's why watching her reactions is so important. Use your hands, your lips, gentle contact, varied pressure. Some men even use temperature contrast with ice, which can create completely different sensations. But here's the key. Don't focus immediately on her nipples. Create anticipation by touching around her breasts first. Circle. Then with your fingertips, use your palms. Let her feel the buildup before you give her the direct stimulation she's anticipating. When you do focus on her nipples, start gentle and gradually build to her preferred level of stimulation. For some women, that's very gentle throughout. For others, it's progressively firmer touch. Discovering where your partner falls on that spectrum is part of the experience. Pay attention to her breathing, the sounds she makes, how her body moves. She'll tell you what she needs if you're paying attention. Now here's an advanced technique that really amplifies arousal. Alternate between her breasts and her inner thighs. Touch her breast for a moment, then move down and kiss her inner thigh. Back to her breast, back to her thigh. You're creating variety. She doesn't know what's coming next, so her anticipation stays elevated. This unpredictability keeps her nervous system firing on all cylinders. Now, before I reveal the seventh and final zone, stay with me because after I show you what it is, I'm going to give you that detailed step-by-step action plan I promised, the exact sequence to follow. How to transition between zones smoothly, what to say at each stage, how long to spend in each area, and how to combine everything for maximum connection and pleasure. This isn't just theory, gentlemen. This is a complete roadmap you can follow tonight. And the seventh zone is the one most men focus on too quickly. The clitoris. It has over 8,000 nerve endings packed into a tiny area, making it the most concentrated source of pleasure in the human body. It's incredibly responsive, and yes, it absolutely matters. But here's why we're talking about it last, not first. The reason the clitoris matters in this conversation is because stimulating it along with all these other areas is where real transformation happens. Here's what gets missed about female arousal, and this is critical. It doesn't work like yours. You can be ready almost instantly. Your body responds to visual stimuli, to thought, to minimal physical touch. She needs time, variety, and anticipation. Her arousal builds in layers. When you focus only on the obvious zones, breasts and clitoris, you're missing the bigger picture. Her body is capable of so much more than localized pleasure. But when you pay attention to her entire body, when you treat every area with care and intention, her arousal builds in those layers I mentioned. It gets deeper, more intense, more connected. And when she does experience release, it's not just focused in one area. It's a whole body response that she feels throughout her entire being, from her scalp to her toes. That's the difference between adequate intimacy and unforgettable intimacy. That's what keeps her thinking about you during the day. That's what makes her want you, makes her initiate with you, makes her eager for the next time instead of just going through the motions. And gentlemen, here's that detailed action plan I promised. This is exactly how to incorporate all 7 zones tonight in a sequence that builds arousal properly. Follow this, and I promise you'll notice how differently she responds. Start in a comfortable setting. The living room works well for the beginning stages. Sit close to her on the couch or position yourself behind her. You're not in a rush. You have 30 to 40 minutes ahead of you. If you can, dim the lights, put your phones away, create an environment where you can both be present. Begin with her scalp, zone 1. Run your fingers slowly through her hair for 3 to 5 minutes. Gently use your fingertips to create small circles moving from her hairline back toward her crown. Watch her body language carefully. If her shoulders relax and drop, if you see tension leaving her body, you're creating the right effect. You're activating her parasympathetic nervous system, bringing her into the present moment, helping her leave the stress of the day behind. While you're touching her scalp, lean in close and start working zone 2, her neck. Soft kisses on the side of her neck. Warm breath near her ear. Don't rush this phase. Spend another 3 to 4 minutes just on the scalp and neck combined. You're building pleasant sensations and deep connections. When her breathing changes or she tilts her head to give you more access, that's your signal she's responding well. Her body is telling you to continue. Now transition to zone 3, the ears. Whisper something specific near her ear. Tell her what you appreciate about her or what you're looking forward to. Something like, I've been thinking about being close to you all day, or I want to take my time with you tonight, or simply, you feel so good. Your breath combined with your words creates powerful anticipation. If she responds well, if she leans into you, if she makes approving sounds, add gentle kisses near her ear. At this point, you've spent 10 to 15 minutes, and you haven't rushed to the obvious areas. That's intentional. You're engaging her entire nervous system. She's present. She's focused on sensation. Her mind isn't wandering to her to-do list or worrying about how she looks. Her arousal is building steadily, layer by layer. Now, move to zone 4, her lower back. Guide her to a more comfortable position or transition to the bedroom if that feels natural. Slide your hands to rest on her lower back. Use supportive pressure. Press your palms into the small of her back and move them slowly in broad circles. Spend 2 to 3 minutes here. You can add kisses down her back if clothing allows. This area is so rarely given focused attention that when you do, it feels incredibly caring to her. Here's where you start combining zones in a more deliberate way. Keep one hand on her lower back while you return to her neck with your mouth. You're touching 2 zones simultaneously now, and this is when her arousal spikes significantly because her mind can't predict where the next pleasant touch is coming from. That element of surprise keeps her fully engaged. Now, if you have back or knee issues, which many of us over 50 do, here's a practical tip. Use pillows for support. If you're moving to a position where you'll be between her legs, use the edge of the bed and kneel on the floor with a pillow under your knees, rather than trying to kneel on the mattress. Your comfort matters too, because if you're in pain or distracted by discomfort, you can't focus on her the way you need to. Now, transition to zone 5, her inner thighs. Position yourself comfortably between her legs. Start near her knees. Gently touch or kiss the inside of one knee. Slowly move up her inner thigh. Stop well before reaching her most intimate area. Switch to the other leg. Repeat this pattern several times. The more time you spend here building anticipation, the more her body naturally prepares itself. Everything becomes more responsive. Blood flow increases. Natural lubrication increases. Nerve endings become more sensitive. Spend at least 5 to 7 minutes on her inner thighs. You'll notice when it's working. Her breathing will change from steady to slightly faster. Her body language will shift. She might arch slightly or move her hips. She may even try to guide you with her hands toward where she wants you to. Go, not yet. Stay patient. That anticipation you're building is going to make everything that comes next exponentially more intense. Move to zone 6, her breasts and nipples. Use your hands first with gentle touch. Don't focus immediately on her nipples. Create anticipation by touching around her breasts first, circling them with your palms, letting her feel that buildup. When you do focus on her nipples with your fingers, with your lips, with gentle contact, she's already so engaged that even light touch creates strong responses. Spend 3 to 4 minutes here. But here's the key technique that really amplifies things. Alternate between her breasts and her inner thighs. Touch her breast, then move down and kiss her inner thigh. Back to her breast, back to her thigh. You're creating variety. She doesn't know what's coming next. Her anticipation stays elevated. This unpredictability heightens arousal significantly. Now you move to zone 7, the clitoris. But you don't rush directly there. You start with gentle touch around this region first. Slow, mindful movements. Let her feel you getting closer. When you do focus directly on her clitoris, use gentle, consistent contact. Here's where all the previous zones create the difference. Because you spent 20 to 30 minutes building her arousal through her scalp, neck, ears, back, thighs, and breasts, her clitoris is already highly responsive. You don't need intense pressure or fast movement. Her body is fully engaged. Her nervous system is firing. Blood flow has increased throughout her entire pelvic region. She's primed. While you're focused on her clitoris, bring back other zones. This is an advanced technique, but it's incredibly powerful. Keep one hand on her lower back with supportive pressure. Use your other hand on her breasts or reach up and touch her neck. You're engaging multiple zones at once now, and her nervous system responds powerfully to that multi-layered stimulation. Pay close attention to her breathing, her sounds, the way her body moves. When you find an approach and rhythm that makes her respond positively, here's the most important instruction I can give you. Don't change it. Stay consistent. Many men make the critical mistake of changing what they're doing right when she's most engaged. They think they need to do something different, something more. But if she's building toward climax, if she's responding strongly, maintain exactly what you're doing. Consistency at this stage is everything. When she does reach climax, it won't be localized to just one area. It'll be a full-body experience because you've spent 30 to 40 minutes activating sensation throughout her entire being. That's the transformation. That's what creates those full-body experiences where she feels waves of pleasure from her scalp to her toes. After she finishes, don't stop abruptly. This is important. Slowly reduce intensity. Move from her clitoris back to her inner thighs with gentle touches. Then back to her lower back with soft, supportive contact. You're helping her transition gradually, bringing her back down gently rather than just stopping cold. This aftercare matters significantly. It shows care and consideration that deepens emotional connection. That's your complete approach. Scalp to neck to ears, to lower back to inner thighs, to breasts to clitoris, with plenty of movement between zones. 30 to 40 minutes total. Most of that time spent building connection and arousal before focusing on her most sensitive areas. This is the roadmap. Follow it tonight and see how she responds. Now let me tell you why this matters specifically for you as a man over 50. Research from the New England Research Institute tracked thousands of men and found something remarkable. Men who maintain regular sexual activity, at least once per week, have testosterone levels that are 15 to 20% higher than men who don't. That's significant. A 2019 study published in the American Journal of Cardiology found that men who had sex twice weekly or more had significantly lower rates of cardiovascular disease compared to men who had sex less than once per month. We're talking about real, measurable health benefits. But here's what really matters for you. When you know how to create these full-body experiences for your partner, intimacy happens more frequently. When she's having these kinds of experiences, she initiates more, she's more enthusiastic, the frequency naturally increases, and more frequent intimacy means better hormone levels for you, better cardiovascular health, better mood, lower stress levels, and significantly more confidence. This isn't just about pleasing her, though that's wonderful. This is about creating a cycle of intimacy that benefits your health. Men in their 50s, 60s, and beyond who maintain active sex, lives show better cognitive function, lower rates of depression, and research even suggests reduced prostate issues. The bottom line? Learning these techniques isn't just good for your relationship, it's good for your health. Before you try this tonight, let me give you some critical warnings. First, If you have arthritis in your hands or wrists, the sustained hand positions might be challenging. Take breaks. Switch between using your hands and your mouth. Don't push through pain, because that tension will transfer to her and she'll feel it. Second, if you or your partner are on medications, particularly antidepressants, blood pressure medications, or hormone treatments, her sensitivity in certain zones might be altered. SSRIs, for example, can reduce sensitivity in the genital area, but often increase sensitivity elsewhere. This means you might need to spend more time on the other zones and adjust your approach based on her feedback. Third, and this should be obvious, but I'll say it anyway, hygiene matters significantly. Shower beforehand. Trim your nails so there are no sharp edges. If your hands are rough from work, use some unscented lotion to soften them. These small details make a massive difference in how your touch is received. And finally, and this is crucial, if she says something doesn't feel good or asks you to stop, you stop immediately. Reading her signals is part of being a skilled, attentive lover. If she's tensing up, if she's pulling away, if she goes quiet in a way that feels withdrawn rather than relaxed, that's your cue to check in verbally or change what you're doing. Consent and comfort are non-negotiable. Gentlemen, start tonight. Use the approach I just gave you. Spend real time in each zone. Notice how she responds. Pay attention to what makes her breath catch, what makes her body soften, what makes her pull you closer. And understand that this isn't a one-time technique you try once and then forget. This is how intimacy should work. Slow, intentional, full body, deeply connected. If you found this helpful, comment below and tell me, which zone are you most excited to explore? I read every single comment, and your questions often become my next videos. This is Dr. Lila Romano, and I will see you in the next video.